In the bustling city of Lagos, Emeka had grown from a humble, hardworking student into a successful businessman. His story was the pride of his community, especially his widowed mother, Mama Emeka, who had raised him single-handedly after his father's passing. Emeka's success in life was the result of long nights studying under the flickering light of kerosene lamps and sheer determination to make his mother proud. He had achieved great things: a mansion in the heart of the city, luxury cars, and a thriving business. Naturally, Mama Emeka, whom he invited to live with him, enjoyed the fruits of his labor. She strutted around the neighborhood, attending women's meetings and boasting about her son. Every meeting, there was the same conversation. Mama Emeka, your son is ripe for marriage. Oh, one woman would say, you know, my daughter has just finished her university degree. Very good girl. Oh, maybe she could help you around the house, nudging her toward matchmaking with their single daughters. But Mama Emeka would always wave it off, saying, my son is still too young for such things. He's busy making money. Marriage can wait. This statement amused everyone, as Emeka was well into his 30s, but Mama Emeka acted as though he was still a boy. Little did anyone know, Mama Emeka wasn't keen on losing her spot as the apple of her son's eye. Though she adored Emeka, her biggest fear was another woman stealing him away and taking her place. One evening, Emeka, dressed in his sharp suit and glowing with confidence, brought home a beautiful woman, Nneka. He beamed as he introduced her to his mother, saying, Mama, this is Nneka, my girlfriend. Mama Emeka's smile froze for a second, though Emeka didn't notice. He excused himself to take a business call, leaving Nneka alone with his mother. Nneka, with a bright smile, tried to break the ice. Mama, good evening. How are you? But before she could finish, Mama Emeka snapped, HY. Who is your mama? Do I look like your useless, wretched mother? You think because my son is rich, you can come and chop my son's money? Nneka, confused and hurt, stammered, Mama, I just wanted to. Did I not tell you not to call me Mama? Are you deaf or just stupid? Mama Emeka cut her off, her voice sharp enough to slice bread. Just as the argument was escalating, Emeka re-entered the room, only to find his mother wailing, Oh, Baiko, what did I do to deserve being called a useless witch by this girl, just because I tried to talk to her nicely? Emeka was outraged, believing his mother had been insulted. He turned to Nneka and said, Leave my house. It's over. And just like that, Mama Emeka won. This pattern repeated itself. Whenever Emeka brought a potential wife home, Mama Emeka found a reason to reject her. She's from the wrong tribe, she would say, or her cooking is terrible, or simply, she doesn't look like a good woman. Emeka, convinced by his mother, thought he was only attracting gold diggers, and he trusted his mother's judgment in spotting them. What he didn't realize was that his mother didn't want to lose her place as the center of his universe. One fateful day, while Emeka was heading out on a business trip, his car broke down near a mechanic's shop. When he called for assistance, a soft voice replied, Oga, wait small, I dey come. To his surprise, a female mechanic appeared, wiping grease from her hands. Her confident, no-nonsense demeanor caught him off guard. Are you here to fix your eyes or your car? She teased, noticing his stare. Emeka chuckled. Both, I guess. They struck up a conversation as she walked on the car. Her name was Amaka, and she was only helping her father with his shop while waiting to land a job after graduating. Jokingly, she said, if your car crashes again, I give you refund, Emeka was intrigued. She was different from the women he had met, sharp, independent, and confident. They exchanged numbers, and over the next few weeks, they grew close. A few months later, they were inseparable. Amaka was unlike any woman Emeka had met, smart, hardworking, and genuine. After a whirlwind romance, they decided to marry. However, The connection to his mother was bad while Emeka was planning the wedding, so he relied on his uncles to help organize everything. He planned to surprise his mother, certain that she would love Amaka. 3 weeks later, when Emeka returned home with Amaka, Mama Emeka's excitement faded the moment she saw her son helping another woman out of the car. "Mom, this is my wife, Amaka," Emeka announced proudly. "I know it was quick, but I couldn't return without making her my wife." Mama Emeka forced a smile and said, "As long as you're happy, my son. Come inside, you both must be tired." But the moment Amaka entered the house, she felt the ice-cold vibe. That night, everything seemed fine, but Amaka could sense Mama Emeka was scheming. The next morning, Amaka set the breakfast table for the three of them. As she walked past Mama Emeka, she greeted her politely. But Mama Emeka quickly shoved the food into her mouth and cleaned the plate before anyone could see. When Emeka arrived, he noticed his mother had no plate and asked, "Mama, where's your food?" Mama Emeka, with an exaggerated sigh, replied, "Your wife refused to serve me, claiming she married you, not me." Amaka's jaw dropped in shock. Before she could explain, Emeka, disappointed, stood up. "Since you won't serve my mother, eat by yourself," he said and left for work. As soon as Emeka left, Amaka turned to Mama Emeka and asked, "What was that about?" Mama Emeka smiled wickedly and said, "You think you can steal my son from me? You haven't seen anything yet. Better pack your bags and leave if you want peace." But Amaka was not one to be intimidated. She decided to play along. Later that evening, while preparing dinner, Mama Emeka snuck into the kitchen and poured extra salt into the stew. When Emeka came home, Amaka greeted him sweetly and said, "Love, I'm sorry for this morning. I've apologized to Mom, and she graciously offered to cook dinner." Amaka would smile sweetly and say, "Mama made this food, so thank her." Mama Emeka panicked. No, your wife cooked the food." But before she could stop him, Amaka chimed in, "Oh, Mama, don't be shy, give yourself credit." And when the food was inevitably terrible, Amaka had a backup meal ready. Amaka sighed dramatically, "If you were still angry about this morning, you could have just talked to me instead of oversalting the food." Emeka looked disappointed in his mother, but Amaka's calm approach kept the peace. For 3 months, Amaka stayed steps ahead, frustrating Mama Emeka at every turn. Emeka, growing tired of his mother's antics, was about to send her back to the village several times, but Amaka always intervened, saying, "Be patient. She's getting old." One day, as Emeka left for work, Amaka mischievously grinned. She had taken some important documents from his briefcase and used this as her final move. Amaka, waving goodbye, turned to see Mama Emeka fuming. Amaka chuckled and said, "Mama, what happened to all your plans to deal with me? You better act fast before I give birth and your troubles double." She teased, patting her flat belly. Mama Emeka was shouting, "You witch. Before you came, everything was perfect. Do you know what I had to do? I drove away every woman he brought home, but you are like a pest. I'll kill you today." At that moment, Emeka stepped in. "Mama, you've been behind all this." Mama Emeka, caught off guard, stammered, "My son, I was only trying to protect you." Emeka sighed. "I can't raise my family in this toxic environment. You have to go, Mama. I built a house for you in the village, but my wife begged me not to send you there alone. Now, I have no choice." With that, he arranged for his mother to return to the village. As Emeka called a taxi, Mama Emeka sulked, still weeping, but the game was over. As she was being driven away, Amaka waved cheerfully from the gate. "Mama, take care. I'll miss you," she shouted, with a mischievous grin. And thus, the battle of the mothers-in-law came to an end, with Amaka crowned the victor. Emeka, finally at peace, could only laugh at the irony. He had always thought it was the other women who weren't good enough. Little did he know, the biggest battle had been right under his nose.